As founders, we have an amazing story of why we started the company. And as you all know, probably, it's why that drives us. It's our why that helps us to achieve the impossible and achieve what's out of our boundaries. So, what's your why?
I want to say so I can be famous, but over the years, I've learned that that's not true. I started as a filmmaker, and that fame was in my mind. Like, oh, if I go big, if I have a big name, that's going to be super cool. People are going to know me. People will know my content. That's great. But I think the why is a very philosophical question. If you ask that for anything, why do you do anything in life? Why do I do this? Why did I start that? And I think partly it is, I do like having my name out there for sure, but I think it's more about just being a creator. I think we're all born from creation, and then as we grow up, we're so imaginative as kids, and then society or parents or friends or schools can take away that creativity. Maybe not unintentional, but we stop being creative at a certain point. And I still look at myself as a 5-year-old, so I'm still that inner 5-year-old is still in me, and I'm still creating. And it was just in my blood from a young age. I wanted to create content. I get really excited, and I'm getting excited now talking about it when I want to create ideas for a new company, working with high-end camera equipment, working with professional actors, working with my team, and then my own mind to bring a script to life. I started doing that with movies, and now I'm doing it with commercials. And just the act of creation I love, from taking a script to a month later seeing that script now in a video form. It's just amazing to see something come to life. It's a perfect manifestation of having this thought of an idea, and then you actually bring that idea to life. That gets me going, and that would probably be my why. It's just built in me. Creating is something that I absolutely love. And if you are a filmmaker, if you are a video content creator, then you probably have the same why as me. You probably have that spark to just create, and you just want to keep creating.
What did you do to find your why?
Whatever you enjoy most, it also correlates with your why. So once you start putting things together, as in you look at your history and say, okay, what have I been giving my time to without charging for it? Then that's when you start realizing there's a commonality in every single thing that you are doing, something that you're not charging for. There are things that you will charge for, and obviously that you are making money from it. But there are things that you say, I'm so good at it that I don't need to charge somebody because it's just so easy for me. And then we assume that it's easy for everybody else. But
Yes.
that goes hand in hand with your why.
I remember my own journey of figuring out the why. I say it took me about like 3 years. It was 3rd February 2019. I attended my first manifestation workshop where that guy said, he's like, if you figure out why you want that particular thing, the how will come. And that thing just clicked with me. And I'm like, why do I want to do? What do I want to do? And I kept asking. And I remember for a certain amount of months, I asked myself, every single day before I went to bed, why do I want what I want? Why do I want what I want? And I was a skeptical person, so I got that answer, but now I had to be really sure of it. So then I tried different activities and different exercises to really make sure that this is exactly what I want, because I'm like, I want to be sure about it, I want to have that certainty in life and then be sure about, okay, this is what I really want, but why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great question because it's not there's not a like it's not a direct answer once again.
It
And
can't be.
maybe I'm just a complicated individual, right? But there's multiple, like, of course the helping people aspect of it is huge for me. But, we also get paid very well. So like it's not a charity as well. But again, why there's so many things. One, I want to inspire people. I want people to be able to believe in their dream. As a child, we all have dreams, right? We all, like nobody's gonna say, oh, to a 4-year-old, yeah, we're gonna fly to the moon. And no parent is gonna say, yeah, stop aiming so high, right?
Hmm.
But once we, graduate high school and then go into university, and then I want to do this, I want to live all over the world. No, be realistic. So I want to share with people the opportunity to be unrealistic. Screw, pardon my language, being realistic. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, then go for it. And I use myself as an example because I shut my dreams down. Okay, I had crazy dreams as a kid, even as a young, young 20 something. Like I had crazy dreams, but then family, life, relationships, and that's why we got to be very careful who we surround ourselves with too, right? All started like chipping away, just a little chip, a little chip, a little chip, a little chip, until the point where I almost put it away. Like one of my dreams was just to be able to be home for my kids, or be able to have that flexibility. I wanted to be the only dad on school trips, right? I wanted to be the guy available that I have the time to do that, because most of us don't have the time to go out there and spend time with the people who really matter.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, nobody's going to say, I wish I spent more time at the office. When you're taking your last breaths, and hopefully it's a very peaceful and you're surrounded by family, nobody's going to say, man, I wish I did one more proposal. I wish I got one more client.
Yes.
Right? Right? Or I wish I bought one more property. No, we're going to say, you know what? I wish I spent more time. I wish I took more trips. I wish I built more quality time with the people that actually matter to me or to you. So I want to tell people, I want to help inspire people that is possible, that's real. You can dream as big as you want. Like, buddy, you're one of the biggest dreamers I've ever met, right? Like, okay, this guy I'm talking to the audience now because this guy is nuts. But guess what? That's amazing. Like, that's amazing to be crazy and to think huge. Because you know what? The price is the same. Whether you think small,
Yes.
like you can think Honda Civic, or you can think Bugatti. It's the same process in your brain.
Yes.
So why think Honda Civic? Nothing wrong with Honda Civics. They're great cars. But come on, Bugatti's a cool car, man.
100%.
Right? So and for me, like, I've learned as I've gotten a little older that the material stuff, I love it, but it's not the most important.
That's an awesome question. So I could say what my passion is today to help entrepreneurs cross that finish line. Now, what is the finish line? It's different with every entrepreneur. I mean, everyone says, yeah, let's go online. I want sales. But really, that's what everybody wants. But to get to that point, there's a lot of execution that needs to be done before that most business owners don't understand. Unless you've done your marketing and understand the words and to communicate with your target clients, and you've tested, and now you have a system or a way of doing that, and you understand, that's fine. That's great. It's going to be easy. But if not, you're going to need someone to help you through that journey to help you understand that. So I think what really charges me, Al, is helping other entrepreneurs get to a different level of where they are now.
So it's an industry that keeps on evolving. Nothing ever stops. And it's kind of nice. I think a lot of people, in their industries, things are very repetitive, and it's very hard for them to remain passionate about what they do. In the IT world, nothing remains the same. Like, whatever is true today will probably be changed in the next few months or a year. So it keeps on changing, keeps on evolving. You keep finding new things. You asked why am I passionate? Because you can see the evolution, for example, of laptops, where we started and where we are today. When we started with big box, of laptops, and today we have smaller laptops, are capable to do more, are capable to run for longer, and all these solutions that we have today. It's a very interesting world these days than what it was before. We can definitely talk a long time about this, but the biggest thing right now going on is cybersecurity. A lot of people are getting hacked or ransomware, and that's now one of the main passions we focus on, is to educate people to understand that it's not about if I get hit, it's when you get hit, because we're all a target and we have to be prepared for it.
But basically in 2020, right, I got laid off from my job of 8-9 years old. Like you're kind of losing your career, your identity at that point because you've been working there for so long. So I got laid off, didn't know what to do. The boyfriend at the time, who actually lived in my building, he broke up with me during that time. And then the third pillar was when my family, being strict Asian parents, because I don't live with them, I live on my own, and they were being very careful right during that time. And they said, well, unless you're going to live with us, you can't see us anymore. You have to make that decision.
Wow.
All 3 rounds, right? Your family, your career, your love life, just all came crumbling down in my life. And for an average, everything kind of human, this is very hard to take.
Yes.
It was
Like all the 3 pillars just collapse, right? You have no pillar to get support from, and then
right.
we all need that support to keep ourselves going.
Exactly. And so luckily, the one pillar I had was friends who so and also just like my strong like personality and just like, okay, like I can take all this negative energy and all this crap and let's make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
So that's like how I said, like I was like, what am I good at? What does the world need right now? And how do I mesh this together and create this like awesome thing for everyone involved? And that's where Toronto Dating Hub was born.
I'm curious to learn about a story when things were not seeming to is easy, and you had to work off your way to get something done and cross the finish line.
Oh man, I mean, it was a big struggle in the beginning. Remember, I had never worked in a PR firm. I think I went to a job interview in New York and all the PR firms were there interviewing. The lineups were 1 to 2 hours, and then you'd get 5 minutes to pitch your version of what you could do differently inside of that organization. I'm like, oh, I'm not good at this at all. I just don't feel like I'm going to get what I need, because I was thinking more of being an entrepreneur and being a CEO and managing all silos, all tranches of the business, including the finance, the contracts, the graphics, the art department, the writing, right? Having had that rounded, arts background. Mm-hmm. So, interviewing was a struggle, and not finding my place in the beginning was a struggle. And so when you don't find your place, when there's no seat at the table for you, make your own damn table. And so that's what I did.
I love that spirit. That's yes, make your own.
Make your own fucking table, and that's it, right? And you set your table and you say, this is how I'm going to run my stuff. This is the vision I have, and you start putting pen to paper and writing down your business.
That's always the great question, right? Why do we do what we do? And it's funny because a lot of questions I ask my patients in clinical care is, do you like what you do? Why do you do what you do? Right. And so when it's asked to me, you're like, oh, for me,
some of them can be at the podcast.
For me, you know what? I've always been intrigued by health. Growing up, we grew up more in a natural setting. I took supplements as a kid. I remember iron powders, but tasting horrible, but just feeling great. And I didn't really run into, thankfully, many health issues growing up. But I always found it so fascinating because, we always said, oh, you're sick, you go to the doctor. And then over time, I started to realize, well, no, if I'm sick, that means I'm not doing something right. And so that kind of ignited the fire alongside me wanting to learn about health and wellness and the body and how to be your best. And that kind of amalgamated together. And that's where I got into naturopathic medicine specifically, because we can treat the whole body and really give that power back to the patient. So they're the one taking care of themselves and we're holding them accountable.
Honestly, dude, I can go way back, as I
Let's
was a
go way
kid,
back, man.
yeah, as I was a kid, I always kind of thought of big ideas and, oh, like this problem, like I can solve it like this or this, I can do that. And I've always had kind of like the little thing inside me to kind of do a little bit more than just kind of getting a job. Because I don't know, getting a job is great, but I felt like it wasn't the thing for me. Then I went to high school, right? And through high school, I was like, dude, I'm good at math, I'm good at science, I want to get into engineering. And the whole decision behind that was really, I wanted something sustainable, something to fall back on, something that is going to give me a consistent income, because safety was such a big priority, you know. And I signed up for engineering school and all of that. Get into summer and my gut is just telling me, nah, man, this isn't it. And I'm thinking about it, I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to other people, and everybody's like, no, you got to try it first. And myself, I got to try it. If I don't try it, how do I know if it's great or not, or if it's right for me? So I give it a shot, and guess what? 6 weeks in, I'm like, screw this, I'm out. So I dropped all of my courses. I didn't really have a good conversation with my parents about it yet. I didn't talk to anybody else about it. I'm just sitting at a coffee shop at night. It's like 11:30, deadline's midnight, and I drop all my courses. And I'm like, wow, wonderful.
That's a way to
I'm
go.
gonna go
That's
on
a way
Monday.
to go.
I took the biggest risk I've ever taken in my life so far. So I go back to school on Monday. I'm like, dude, I got to do something because I want to be in school. I want to learn. And so then what I did was I ended up joining a business program at Ryerson University, now known as TMU, Toronto Metropolitan. And I discovered marketing. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. I'm reading through the textbook. I'm like, this is powerful. And I really resonated with it. And that's like my first discovery of marketing, really getting into it, understanding it. And early on, I started doing work for small companies, small businesses, freelancing. If you guys are in Canada, you guys will know Kijiji. I was out there on Kijiji just posting like, I'll do this graphic design, or I'll create this thing for you, or this landing page, or this, that. And I was doing work for free, but I started charging, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting really good at this. And that was a discovery, dude. And I continued to build on that, and eventually it became Navenetic, a full, agency operating for email marketing for SaaS and e-commerce companies.
It's a great question. And I take a lot of personal pride and satisfaction in knowing that I get involved in people's lives when there's some degree of change. Usually, sometimes it's really great news, like maybe it's a new family formation, you've got more kids, you need more space. Sometimes there's some kind of other change happening. Maybe it's a separation or a divorce. Maybe it's an estate sale coming up. Or maybe there's some change in the market. People need to either make a divestment or they're making an acquisition. But there's some kind of change, and I get to be there with these very personal journeys in people's lives. And I get to be included in helping them really achieve their goals and get to their ends. And for me, that's a huge motivating factor, and I get a lot of satisfaction. It really keeps me interested, and every single person's story I find is both unique and really engaging. That's a big part of what I love about why I get to do and why I do what I do.